Did you know that part of the Appalachian Mountains are the same chain of mountains that are in England?
That's fucking neat.
Right?
Hi, welcome back to the Radial podcast. My name's Austin. I'm joined by Devin.
Hi.
And Jeff.
Let me tell you about geography.
I'm watching a video of a man with robot arms, and for some reason one of these, he's got no shirt on, and this man needs to have a shirt on at all times.
That
Hang on, when
well.
you say robot arms, do you mean like prosthetics, or do you mean like...
I mean,
You mean like an
robo
Iron Man.
prosthetics.
Oh man, how far away from like elective amputation do you think people are?
100 years.
You think it'll take 100 years?
Yes.
I believe
reading,
it's 2027 is when
I've
it's
seen
supposed to
Iron
pop
Man
off.
2
I was
where
reading...
the guy gets
I mean,
his
that's
spine
not
broken.
prosthetics. That's a robot suit that goes over you. He's talking about cutting your arm off and putting a robot
a better
arm there.
arm on.
Yeah, but we can't even get like an exosuit together.
Dude,
Also,
I was
see-
reading this article. Shut up. I was reading this article. Shut up. What are you? Let me finish my story that I've been trying to start. The article.
You just started. You just started trying to start.
Jeffrey, I'm listening.
I'm going to make a noose out of this mic cord. I'm going to come over there. It was this article about a man that was paralyzed from the waist down, and they took some sort of something and attached it to his nervous system at the base of his spine after where the sever was that prevented his legs from working, and he can just use his legs now because it like it's got like a RF
I also
transmitter
read
or
this
something. That's
story.
fucking cool.
That's Wi-Fi in his body.
Yeah, that makes his legs go.
The dude can walk.
Yeah, that's really cool. So like elective amputations, if you can be like, I could have this arm that I can hold some things with, or I can have this arm with a fist on it that can crush stones and the skulls of my enemies.
I mean, I feel like we've been through this exact
Tear
topic
your own arm
on this podcast, which is, like you'll grab something, like you'll be like, oh, I'm going to rip this fucking pipe off the wall. And you'll grab the pipe and just rip your arm off the
No,
body.
that's why it's got to be like, if it's a prosthetic hand that could do more stuff, you could just crush things in it. You're not at risk of ripping your hand off unless you don't let go.
Just other things, though.
You'd be like, oh, I'm going to rip this door off this car. And you just like rip your fucking like whole shoulder off. You're like,
Well, yeah.
oh, shit.
Yeah, you just have to be smart about where the weakest link is, and in that instance, it's your fleshy meat bag shoulder.
I don't
Can I have it
need
fused to, like, my rib
crush
cage?
things.
I do.
You say that, but what if you could? You might find all sorts of needs for it.
Like, no.
Yeah,
I've got pretty decent arms on me already. Like, these are fine. I'm not like,
Hard
boy,
disagree.
what if I could crush skulls?
I mean, that'd be pretty dope.
That's not worth it for giving up these hands.
I mean, like, what if you buy a house one day and like
No,
your
this is a
backyard
fantasy.
is just full of rocks? And you're like, oh, I don't want to dig up all these. You could just crush the rocks and make a nice little gravel bed.
You know hammers exist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent
Have
my
you ever-
weekend doing that. It's really hard.
Oh, would it have been easier if you just walked up there and like crushed them with your dumb robot
Yeah, it would
hands?
have been awesome.
And also, if you're trying to do a like double hand crush,
Think about all the cool bar tricks you could do. You're like, hey, give me that can of beer. Check this out.
I can do that now. Like,
You idiots are over there smashing beer cans against your forehead. I could just wring the beer out of this tin of metal with my fist.
what do you think bars are like?
Sad, dark, lonely
similar
places.
to the ones in video games, like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you line dance with bartenders, and every dude looks exactly like the same dude.
It's because you were drunk. Devon's
think
experienced this
bars are
phenomena
like.
firsthand when he sat down at the wrong table at your bachelor party.
Got us thrown out of that place at that thing.
That doesn't sound like it happened.
It
definitely happened.
You're walking around like your torso was connected to your legs by a slinky.
Sounds pretty cool to me. That's a cool bar trick, if I've ever heard one.
You was fucked up. Like,
Anyways,
Also, it's not going to be a cool bar trick if I can just cut off my arm and put a robot arm. Anyone could do that. So I'm like, hey, look what I bought. I got and smashed the cans.
yeah, have you ever been in society? It's a whole contest of check out what I bought.
Yeah, for bad people. Regular, like,
that's literally everyone.
decent humans don't do
You
that.
do that. You come in and you're like, look at these skinny jeans that I'm wearing.
Yes,
Or
that is me. I definitely say that all the time.
Every time you're like, look at these new shoes.
When was the last time you saw me in new shoes?
Today.
Hey, are those new shoes?
No.
Oh.
These babies had them for like 2 years. People are crazy.
I had a segue and then you cut me off.
Did you sell it for a hoverboard?
Were you just waiting for the beat to drop?
No, like it's something about like it's fucked up, and I was gonna be like fucked up like Sebastian Vettel's title hopes, Mexico 2018. That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, we should make sure that doesn't ever make it to air.
Hey, you should cut that.
Yeah, we shouldn't. That's just on a. Everyone will know that you just bailed on that and it just bombed it.
Oh, I'm just gonna leave.
Speaking of bombing, let's talk about Sebastian Vettel.
yeah,
I mean,
He did fine.
he did fine.
he did pretty okay. Speaking of bombing, let's talk about Lewis Hamilton.
Speaking of bombing, let's talk about what Max did at qualifying board.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of bombing, let's talk about U.S. politics.
Let's not.
No.
Because there was all those like bombs
No.
got mailed out last week.
Oh, wait,
Anyway.
what?
Oh yeah.
We'll talk later.
We're not gonna. We don't talk about politics on this podcast.
Unless they're motorsport politics.
Yes.
Speaking of motorsport politics, Kevin Magnussen and Esteban Ocon got disqualified in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like
after
that
we
happened,
recorded.
like 30 minutes after we got done recording. Like you were driving on the way home when you texted that to us.
Yeah, like it actually probably happened while we were recording, but I'm not checking the news while we're recording
Because
that's
we
crazy.
devote 100% of our attention to you.
Yeah, yes,
fans.
definitely all of us do that.
Yeah.
And never on our phones during this.
Not at all.
But yeah, Ocon exceeded the fuel flow limit, and Kevin Magnussen used too much fuel during the race.
Wait, how did you use too much fuel without running out of fuel?
I think he didn't use too much the entire... Like, I think he had to really conserve...
That seems like it was just also exceeded the fuel flow limit, is what that
I think he had too much fuel on board.
I'm
At
not...
start.
I didn't know you could do that.
I'm not positive.
He had too much of that there petrol.
Mm-hmm.
In one fashion or another.
Anyway, both of them complained about this and don't think they gained an advantage. But disqualified nonetheless.
Disqualified. Like in
Yes.
the movie Rush when they're talking about Niki Lauda's car.
I don't recall this.
His car was too wide. By like a centimeter or something.
Wasn't that James Hunt's?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the beat to
There's
drop.
been no other info news this week.
No new signings?
I'm calling it info news from now on
Okay, that's fine.
because it's both new and information.
And
I'll,
news.
News information.
I'll allow it. I suppose.
New Sinfo. I like info news better.
Yeah.
Oh no, that just sounds like Info Wars. Fuck.
Oh. I just said that we don't talk about politics.
That man's fighting a war on information.
Let's
You know, it's a bad premise.
let's shift gears, Bazinga, and talk about Formula One.
Hang you too.
Bad read on the word bazinga there.
Bazinga is a bad word.
You've got a shirt that says bazinga on it.
It was a gift.
and you wear it.
It's comfortable and fits well.
It's a t-shirt.
I know, but it's like really soft.
It's from the Walmart.
Or the Target.
I don't know where it's from. It was a gift.
It's I'm ashamed of you every time you do it, and I want you to know that.
Me too, but it's really comfortable.
I'm like,
I can't imagine a world
it
where fits really well.
A show that Jeff can't fucking stand, but he wears the shirt all the time.
It's not all the time.
It's
like
pretty
once a
often.
month.
Like,
I see you in that shirt once a month.
wait, you leave the house in it?
Yeah.
I mostly see you at home in it, but
I feel like it's cut well. You can see my lats. Trap looks strong.
So here's the thing: if your point is that it like fits well, so it makes you look good,
All of that is immediately counterbalanced by the fact that it says Bazinga on the front. I realize that the irony is not lost on me.
okay, good.
But what else am I going to do? Wear it inside out and look like an insane person?
No, you just throw it in the garbage.
Hey,
It's very
man.
comfy.
I mean, the food bank. Well, no, the food bank for clothes. What do they call that? The Goodwill.
That's the Goodwill does zero charitable work, so
Well, it's otherwise I'd just throw it in the trash. So that's better.
I think it's the Salvation Army. That
I don't know where that
does
is.
a good thing. There's one it's like right over there.
It's too late. I already threw all my clothes away at the Goodwill.
No, you gave them to me, and then I threw them away.
No, it's been multiple rounds of getting rid of clothes.
We have to talk about racing. We've talked about robot arms, video games, politics, Jeff's T-shirts.
Yes.
Like, can we talk about Formula One?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, we could have like a 3-hour podcast where, like, for 1 hour of it, we talk about Formula One.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Nobody's going to listen to it.
Tell that to. I don't know. I don't know who you would tell that to.
Yeah, there's
I
only
guess
one guy who listens to the podcast, and that's Adam, and he was like all 7 of our downloads. He told me so.
Oh, did you actually check the? Have you
It's
looked at
gotten
the
better.
email? They emailed us and said, "Hey, some shit got real fucked up, and this was our fuck up, and we're like, it was like some sort of security breach.
Oh,
Like none of our shit got fucked up.
That's your problem. They have your financials.
No, like none of, no,
No.
like personal information got lost. This is like some. I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
read it
it
that
just
thoroughly.
seemed like the API got broken to iTunes or something.
No, it's they had to like revert some shit to like a month ago, so it's just like lost like a month of data.
Interesting.
Anyway, it's a
I saw that
Insider
it looks like
minute.
it got fixed. Looking at our numbers.
yeah. Speaking of numbers, Mexico.
2018.
there's a number.
It's true.
Mexico is not a number. It's a word
And a place.
and a place, and it's a country.
It's the largest Spanish-speaking city in the world.
Mexico City?
Yes.
Yep.
Not Mexico.
Mexico City. Well, Mexico's not a city. But the city of Mexico City is a city. And it resides in Mexico.
It's like in some
Does a city
mountains.
reside in a place?
I think to
There's-
reside, you have to be alive.
Raises some introspective questions about myself.
God damn it! Like, we have to talk about this race.
Did you guys watch FP1 or FP2 or FP3?
No.
No,
Devin, did you?
but
No.
Red Bull was dominant, so I was
did
happy.
see that Red Bull was dominant. I did also see some rumblings about like FP3 due to the threat of rain. Like a lot of cars didn't run for a big portion of it.
Interesting.
This is according to one Instagram story from Lewis Hamilton. That was it.
Oh, okay.
That's the extent of the research that I did on that. And then I watched
It's,
qualifying.
It's good info, though.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it. It seems like they did set times in the end at one point. Also worth mentioning, tires this weekend are super soft, ultra soft, and hyper soft. Not hard. It's got an H.
Oh, yes. At one point,
I was confused
Jeff
earlier.
thought that Red Bull was beating everybody on the hard tires.
I had just glanced at the timing
Aren't the hard
boards.
tires not even showing up this year?
I think they showed up in one race.
Yeah, they were in one race.
Oh.
But I just glanced at the timing boards from like FP1 and FP2, and it was just like Red Bull's H's across the board. And I saw like some U's and some SS's in other places. It's like, they did that on hard. Because I had glanced at it, and the pink is close enough to white that my brain tricked me.
Hards are orange.
shit. Well, it doesn't matter. I still thought that they were white.
Yeah.
So my brain still tricked me. It's not like I looked at that and was like, that's orange.
Yes.
I was like, that's white. Because I thought hards were white.
Nope, that's medium.
No, we had them softs, boy.
Nope.
Not the softs.
Not the softs.
Super soft.
The softs were too hard to show up here.
You know what? They actually
had a
weren't.
harder tire.
But actually, yeah, here the hardest tire was the super soft.
Which is the third softest.
Yep.
Yep.
Which I can't remember if we ever mentioned it.
We did.
But that's officially no longer a thing next year. Next year will just
No,
be...
it's still a thing.
Next year, the tires will just be called soft, medium, and hard at every race.
They'll be called
Well, they
soft,
have-
medium, and hard, but they'll be like, they're actually...
Do they still have the same banding, or are they going to be white, red, and yellow?
They're going to be white, red, and yellow.
Yeah.
Is there any potential for someone at Pirelli screwing something up and being like, here's your hard tires, and they're actually
Probably.
like the wrong
Wait,
softness?
are they going to be white, red, and yellow?
Or
Yes.
whatever 3 colors,
Yes.
like a consistent 3 colors.
That'll be weird. So will the... What will the reds be? Is red going to be soft?
Presumably it will be the softest, yeah.
Weird.
And yellow will be the middle, and white will be the hardest.
Cause I guess it's kind of whatever, but it just seems weird to have like yellow and white not be soft and medium anymore, and instead be medium and hard. But whatever, it's all stupid. And I bet every time the commentators are going to be like, all right, we have the soft, medium, and hard tires, and this weekend we think they're probably about equivalent to last year's
That's exactly what it's
Ultra
going to
Softs."
be.
But I bet in like 2 or 3 years they'll stop doing that.
I bet in 2 or 3 years, Pirelli's not making the tires anymore. So
Wait.
I mean, that's 2 or 3 years is the time frame for that to occur. 2021, was it?
Yeah, I think it's 2021. Someone else was like
Hankook is
bidding.
bidding against them,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered you saying that you didn't think anything was going to come of that.
It
But-
might not.
It might not,
Yeah.
but it's still in the realm of possibilities, so
Yes.
we can't count it out.
Yes.
Anything exciting happening in Q1?
Alonso got into Q2
Barely.
barely.
Yeah, did he do that slingshot?
No.
Oh,
And then, did he even set a time in Q2?
Kemas.
Yeah, he did.
But it was not good.
Did you get it, Kemas?
No. What?
Like what more? Like, tell me more.
Oh. Alonso didn't make it out of Q2. Neither did Force India.
Yes, but Force India didn't try to make it out of Q2.
They did, but they went out on super softs in Q2.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Like, they're like, we're going to go set times, but we're going to use this tire. And that's not going to make it into the top 10.
yeah.
So,
It was really, really weird.
because of this, both Saubers made it into the top 10.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah.
The top 6 being Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, all set times on Ultras in Q2. So they're going to be starting on the middle compound on Sunday's race.
Mm-hmm.
And then Q3.
Yeah. Max with the early best time. I think Vettel was P2 at the start. So everybody... no, I don't think that's right. I think Hamilton was P2.
Yeah, maybe.
And then it was Ricardo, then Vettel. I believe.
This being, they think, if Max is going to take the youngest driver ever to get pole position, this is his best chance because Red Bull's been dominant all weekend. Specifically, Max has been dominant all weekend.
Yeah.
And he started out dominant in Q3.
And then at the end of the session, everybody set one more lap. Hamilton doesn't improve. Vettel doesn't improve.
Yeah, everybody
Bottas
set
doesn't
in yellow
improve.
sectors. So
Raikkonen doesn't improve.
everybody was going slower than their
Max
personal
doesn't
best.
improve on his time. And then Ricardo comes over the line. P1.
Hell yeah.
Edges it out by like 400ths or something.
200.
200ths.
It was
was
a very,
super,
very
super
slim
close.
margin.
And then Max rammed his P2 board harder than anyone I've seen hit those parking boards this year.
Yeah.
Punted that thing.
Yeah.
And which was kind of funny because I was sitting there talking to Devin while we were watching this yesterday, and I was like, I wonder how Max is going to do in this interview because like he's probably pretty upset that he didn't make it, and we're like, yeah, he'll probably be fine. And then he just punts that board. I'm like, huh, yeah, he's mad. But then he got out of the car and he came up and like congratulated Ricardo, which was good. Yeah, a little chat.
Yeah.
That's good because yeah, his comments afterwards of like blaming the car and stuff. It's like, hey,
I didn't
Yeah,
see anything
like-
where he blamed the car. I saw that he said he like messed up the braking on one corner.
he,
No, like
wasn't-
during that interview, he was like, "Yeah, the engine was like breaking up and like blah blah blah," and like he had a lot of
instead of just saying
problems with the car.
hey, like my teammate did better than me.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
just-
I think we did pretty good for all the problems that we had. And I was like, huh, okay. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I
who
mean,
knows?
I think he was just upset because he knew he should have had pole there because he's been dominant the entire weekend up to
Yeah.
that point. So, like, to not get it there is a bummer because, like, this was
I
a
still
good
think
chance
that
for him
it's-
to get his first.
Shitty to not just be like, my teammate got me. Like, good job on him. Like,
No, I mean, he did do that also. But he was like, man, this should have been mine. Like, and it should have. It seemed like he was the better driver this weekend and he just messed up that lap. Like, he should have done better than he did. But, I mean, he was also congratulatory of Ricardo.
This is the first Red Bull front row lockout of the turbo hybrid era.
Yeah. Which is at both surprising and not surprising at all.
I think they could have had it in Monaco this year had Max not hit a wall, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Monaco and Mexico are kind of their best tracks in this
we
era.
should notate why, though, for Mexico.
Mexico higher altitude kind of brings all the engine's performances kind of together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just can't breathe.
There's no airs.
There's air. Mexico's not really that high up. It's like 2,200 meters.
It's far.
I mean, that's... I don't know, that's pretty high up there.
It's like less than Colorado, Denver specifically.
Well, yeah.
You said 2,200 meters?
Yeah.
That's
Isn't
higher than
Den-
Colorado.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. That's definitely
Colorado's
higher than Denver because Denver's
like-
a mile.
Yeah, it's 1
And-
mile.
And you're talking about like 6,500 feet.
Okay, 1.3 miles. Okay, so it's about okay.
It's
So
quite a bit
I
higher than
thought.
Denver.
By like 300 feet.
What?
1.3 miles.
You think 0.3 miles is 300 feet?
No, 1.3 miles is 2,200 meters.
Uh-huh. And how tall is Denver?
1 mile.
You think and you said it's taller by like 300 feet? 1.3 miles versus 1 mile? Do you get where my confusion's at here?
Oh, shit!
I read 1.367 miles and just assumed that was 1 mile and 367 feet. I will admit to my own idiocy, and it took me a long while to get up to speed on this, and I hate myself. I'm going to sit quietly for a while and just...
Mexico City.
Dwell on
pretty
this.
high in elevation.
Yeah.
I
never
Red Bull, very
really-
good chassis.
Yes. I never really knew about Mexico City being so tall. Like
didn't
before
either.
F1.
Me either,
came.
because you think Texas, and you're like, it gets pretty flat down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat here.
But Mexico City.
Apparently.
It's big up there.
It goes...
High. It's high over there.
It's high in Denver, too.
Yeah, bro.
God damn it.
There's so many goddamn weed stores around here now.
Yeah,
Please.
dude, they're everywhere.
It's like
CBD plus.
No, we're getting them marijuana stores.
marijuana
The
dispensaries.
pluses for
Yeah.
the drugs.
The drogas.
Man, there's so many of those billboards. Segue, guys. There's so many of those billboards that like they all say like, "Live your best life," and I fucking hate them. Like I
Do you
feel
not
like
want to live your best life?
no,
I
it's
am
just
living my
they're
best
like,
life
hey,
without-
man,
Are you high?
No.
No,
Well,
but,
then you sound like you could get better.
but it's just like it's like, hey man, can you not sleep sometimes? Or like, do your knees hurt? Or like, do you like have like this? You ever get that tingle like in your foot?
You know,
Like,
weed would solve that.
Yeah. I'm just like, you can't, you're just attributing it to be like a cure-all for everything, and that is not a good look.
But it does help with all of those things.
So does drinking water. If you want all those things to get worse, don't drink any water at all, and you're going to have a bad time.
Drinking water doesn't help you sleep.
It might.
Have you ever talked to any parent that tells their child to have a full glass of water before bed?
There you go.
No, I try not to talk to parents.
Yeah.
And if
We talk to one all the time.
if they made those kids smoke weed, maybe that would help more. Just, hey kid, burn one down before bed.
No. That's it. It is proven to fuck up brain development in people under the age of 16.
Okay, I guess don't let your kids smoke weed.
There you go.
Change my position here.
You gotta let them, like, ones in like their senior year of high school. They're cool, but
Yeah.
any younger than that, no. It's no.
Yeah, you graduate high school, you get a like worthless degree or diploma. I guess it's not really a degree.
Yeah, it's not a degree.
Anyway, you get a dumb piece of paper, and then you can just roll that up.
Then you
into
can
a
go
joint.
get another dumb
Hey,
piece
at least
of
you
paper.
didn't pay for that dumb piece of paper.
No, everyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about Formula One again? Is that okay?
I suppose
Can we talk about the race?
we can.
You want to start the race?
Do you want to start the race?
I'm going to correct you, so I'm going to let you start the race.
Yeah, correct him.
Yeah, oh
It's
yeah.
a bold predicament.
Oh,
Prediction.
Oh yeah.
Predicament as well.
I'm curious as
We
to
start-
what you think I'm going to say here. Yeah,
just
let's let Jeff
before
start
the
it.
parade wrap, they push.
Rap.
Yep, the parade wrap. They pushed a Red Bull's brack.
What are you, me, talking about George Russell?
Yeah. Prior to the parade lap, they pushed the Red Bulls back like 3 feet so they could do like kind of like a little burnout as they start going. So I'm like, hell yeah.
That's cool.
And then they kind of pull back up to the grid. Red Bulls like get back to the grid pretty early, it seems like, in comparison to some of the back markers. Like the commentators were talking about like, do they know we're not racing yet? Like,
Yeah.
they're going to be up there for a while. Like, and one of them even like, he's like, okay, well the Red Bulls got to the back like 10 seconds past the start of this minute. And let's see how long it takes for everybody else. And I don't think he ever commented on it, but it was interesting that he made note.
Yeah.
Because it did appear that they were that early.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if we said the grid order, because we did say Ricardo, then Verstappen.
Ricardo, Max, Lewis,
Vettel.
Vettel, Bottas, Kimi,
Yep. So, and then everyone else. But
And then everybody else.
and then everybody else.
for which this race more than most, this turned into the top three and then everybody else.
Oh, Jesus.
Like
yeah.
by the end of this race,
Oh,
the car in P7 was 2 laps down.
Well, the car in P6.
Oh,
That's
But yes.
Yeah. Start this race, Jeff.
So the race starts. Daniel doesn't get a great start. Max gets a pretty good start. Lewis gets a really good start. And Lewis takes P1 for a while leading into turn 1.
We say a while because the front straight
Is
is
really long.
Really long.
Like every time, like you think that the grid is like generally like kind of placed in the center of the main straight, but like no, like the grid on this track is like the first quarter of the main straight.
yeah.
Like the back marker, the back of the grid, I feel like is almost in the last turn. So Lewis goes around Daniel. Max is kind of just where he is. He is in P2, but he's on the inside.
really side by side. Like it's not
No,
very defined.
Lewis was like a full car in front of him from Max's onboard shot.
Was he?
Yeah, like you could see, like Lewis's. It was no closer than Lewis's back wheel and Max's front tire. Like he wasn't any further back than that. Like I think he was even like Max could have cut over behind him almost, but it was a pretty decent.
It was a drag race.
Yeah, it was a drag race, and he has a Mercedes engine, and he
Yeah.
goes a lot faster in a straight line. But Max is on the inside line, is just able to hold it.
So
And there's a bunch of cars, and it like leading up to this, there was enough time between the start when Lewis jumped in front of everybody, leading up to the first corner. I was like, oh boy, this is about to be a whole ordeal. And then everybody came away mostly fine, with the exception of, I think, is it Ocon? It was
Yeah.
one of the Force Indias got his front wing broken by one of the
Hulkenberg.
Okay, by Hulkenberg, and then Alonso ran over the bits of that
Alonso
front
out
wings,
on the first lap.
and then he retired
lap 5.
oh.
because of it.
Yeah. He drove around with that, just stuck in there for a while.
Yeah. I feel bad for the dude. I kind of agree with what he said. Of
Which is-
like, you just can't race with these guys. Like, too much bumping and banging on the first lap.
Well,
It's the
so
first lap.
he's saying that, but I feel like that has always been kind of the thing. The first lap is always like that, and in other years he's been ahead of it because he's been in a better car, and now he's back there with the
I
people
don't
that
recall it ever being as bad as it's been the last few years, though.
I don't know. I don't have any prior experience to speak of, but just I know, like, hold on for the first 3 turns because someone's probably going to hit someone.
Yeah.
In my viewership experience,
But also he, like, last week, him saying that he, like, retracted that after the fact, after he watched what happened to him. He was like, oh, this wasn't really my fault. Because he thought, like, he said that after he went out in Austin last weekend, and he thought, like, Lance Stroll had just, like, speared him. But I don't even remember what actually happened. But
Lance Stroll speared him.
But it was not, like, entirely, like, it wasn't Lance being a complete fuck up. Like, he was doing something else.
He was displaced on track for some
Yeah.
reason that caused him to just kind of end up in
Yeah,
that
so
scenario.
Alonso was like, it was too harsh. Anyway, so after this first lap, we've got Verstappen in first, Hamilton second, Ricciardo P3, Vettel P4, and then Raikkonen lost a place to Sainz.
Yeah, because he had to go wide at one point to avoid something. Or
I think the same shit with Hulkenberg.
Okay.
Because, like,
Oh, yeah,
Sainz
they were
got
right next
past
to each other.
Hulkenberg and Raikkonen to get P6.
Kimi quickly corrects this, though.
Yeah, he does. He does. So Alonso's out lap 5, which brings out the virtual safety car. And a couple people pit during this, but it's really early.
I think it's
I think actually
Yeah,
might have
Brendan Hartley.
No, Gasly,
Gasly.
pits because he started from P20 on hypersofts for some reason and then, like, immediately pitted.
Yeah, I wish they'd focused more on Gasly this race, but, like, it obviously, like, it's understandable why they didn't, because he's, like, in P20, and, like, there was
They're not
plenty
going
of
to focus on
action
him
up
just
front.
for curiosity's sake.
Yeah, because, like, I kept seeing him, like, really far down, and, like, I think he stopped, like, 3 or 4 times over the course of the race. And it's like, what's going on there? Like, why is he stopping? Like, it was really bizarre, but also really bizarre choice to start him on the hypersofts.
Yep.
My next note here is that lap 12, Lewis Hamilton is the first of the leaders to pit, which is pretty dang early, and the tires seem like they are not lasting nearly as long as they were expecting.
Yeah,
them to.
tires very quickly are becoming apparent that it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, because this was a 71 lap race.
71 lap race. Yeah, and
lap 12, he's switching from the second hardest tires. Like, they're already done.
yeah.
Yep.
And nobody else, like, everyone's tires are not looking great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, the Red Bull tires and the Ferrari tires are also, like, they look like they're problematic. Lots of graining, they would say.
Yes. Lap 13, Ricciardo pits to cover Lewis, comes out behind him. And then lap 14, Max also pits again to cover Lewis off and comes out just ahead of Hamilton. So it's now Vettel, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Bottas. Because Bottas pitted the same time as Hamilton, and the Ferraris haven't pitted yet. Lap 15, Max is caught up to Kimi, who hasn't pitted yet, and needs to get past him pretty quickly because Kimi's going pretty slowly on his old tires, but Max is able to get past him pretty quickly, unlike Hamilton at Austin, who, like, really struggled to get past Kimi. So that was, like, nice to see. Like, I was worried. I was like, oh shit, Max is just going to get backed up behind him and destroy his tires. But Max gets past him pretty quickly. And then lap 17, the same situation. Hamilton and Ricciardo have caught Kimi, and both of them get past him pretty easily as well.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
Kimi loses 2 spots in one corner.
Yep. Yeah, Ricciardo just kind of follows Hamilton through because he's pretty tied up on him. Lap 18, Vettel comes into the pits and comes out P4. And yeah, the tire wear is just seeming like really bad. And like Hamilton especially his tires are
Yeah, he's
already
on the radio
unhappy.
bitching about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Lewis spent. I mean, I guess they were probably broadcasting Lewis's radio a lot more
Yeah.
than anyone else's, but like you hear Lewis's radio this entire race of just like complaining about his tires, which
Pretty good moment from his race engineers when Lewis has come out and he's like, yeah, I don't like these. Well, we've got some used Ultra Softs, and it's like lap 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, well, you don't really have a better choice.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I feel like. That's what they're trying to get across to him. Is like, dude, like, get some used Ultras, but like,
yeah. So
I don't know what the fuck you want us to do about it, asshole.
yeah, all of the leaders are on super softs now, and it's becoming pretty clear like these are probably not going to last to the end of the race, and Verstappen's the only one that has a fresh set of super softs left to put on.
Yeah, it seems like nobody else has even any new tires left. Maybe some hypers.
I think
Mercedes got some new hyper softs
I think
left over.
Bottas had new hypersofts. I don't think Hamilton had anything, and I think one of the Ferraris I think had a fresh set of ultras. But anyway, by lap 30, Vettel is caught up to Ricciardo and is all over him. Ricciardo doing a pretty good job to hold him off, but Vettel's tires are a bit newer.
And just their straight line speed differential is massive.
Yeah. But then Carlos Sainz retires and nearly takes out Kevin Magnussen as he does it.
Like, it was coming up into turn 1, right? Is the runoff that he used?
I think he was over by the stadium.
Okay. Anyway, like, oh, okay. Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, and his car's the one that was like twitching around on the track.
Yep.
Like, he was driving a straight line and like went to brake and then like just kind of twitched over.
Yeah, and it was
Nearly took out the car in front and behind him.
yeah, it was really surprised that everyone came out of that okay. Well, except for Sainz, who retired.
No, his car locked up in the stadium as Max was about to lap him, right?
Yes.
And then I think he retired coming down the main straight into turn 1.
I don't recall.
Maybe it was in the stadium. Don't remember. It was in the stadium.
It was, because I know who you're thinking about. That was at the end of
Okay.
the straight. Anyway, so yeah, Carlos Sainz retires, brings out another virtual safety car, which means Ricciardo can breathe easy for a little bit.
I was trying to find what failed in his car, and they still haven't.
They're suspecting that it was the brakes.
Yeah, I think they were saying it was the brakes during the broadcast, but that's probably hasn't been confirmed. Yeah, well, it maybe has been confirmed by now. But yeah, so Ricciardo gets a few laps to breathe easy, not have to defend. Lap 33, virtual safety car ends, and Ricciardo has to start actually defending, holding off Vettel. And he's able to hold him off for another lap, but lap 34, Vettel takes Ricciardo. Then by lap 38, Vettel's also caught up to Hamilton and gets past him without too much resistance the next lap. Hamilton's tires seem like he's really struggling at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the radio and stuff still bitching.
Yep. Lap 41, Perez is out. Just pulls into the garage. I don't remember what's wrong with his car, but disappointing to see the Mexican driver out in Mexico.
Yep.
And also, coincidentally, all Spanish-speaking drivers have retired at this point.
Yeah.
So, that sucks. Lap 46, Ricciardo's caught up to Hamilton. So, Hamilton's struggling so badly on his tires that Ricciardo's caught all the way up to him. And they have some pretty good fighting, like for a couple laps. And then lap 48, Hamilton like locks up and goes wide at turn 1, and Ricciardo gets past. And comes over the radio. It's like, these tires are fucking done.
Yep.
They're completely done.
So they pull out ultras.
Yep.
Yeah.
But before that happens, lap 49, the exact same thing Bottas does
With Kimi.
with Kimi.
Yep.
So Bottas locks up, turn 1, Kimi gets past. And then, lap 50, Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Bottas, all pit. And Verstappen out into fresh super softs. Vettel comes out onto, I believe, fresh ultras, and both Mercedes come out on used ultra softs. So
It sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, those tires did not look great going on. They had a lot of marbling on them.
Yeah, it was a bit rough.
Yeah, they didn't think that they'd need them again.
Yep. So after that round of pit stops, it is Verstappen, Ricciardo, Vettel, Raikkonen, Hamilton, Bottas. Ricciardo, they're trying to make a one-stop work, because at this point, if they pit him again, he'll be in 6th probably.
Yeah, they're kind of telling him about, I think, the Haas's that are like, yeah, they've been on those tires for like a long time, and it seems like after you get past the initial graining, like they kind of do okay from then on out.
Yeah. So Ricciardo trying to make his old super softs work, and like having to fight off Vettel for, and oh geez, like I'm not sure, I don't have in my notes here how long it takes. So lap 50 was the pit stops. I'm not sure how long it took Vettel to catch Ricciardo, but lap 62, they fight. So however long it took to catch him, they fight until lap 62. So I'm going to say around 10 laps of the two of them fighting. And real good stuff. Ricciardo doing a really good job of holding off Vettel, who is on softer, fresher tires than he is.
A car that's got more straight line speed.
Yeah.
With the RS.
Yeah. And also, Ricciardo having just real bad luck running into back markers
at the wrong
times, which is one of the main things that let Vettel get past him earlier.
I think that's ultimately what that first pass was about.
Mm-hmm. And then, as I said, lap 62, that fight ends as Ricciardo retires.
Yeah, finishing the lap prior, there's some smoke that came out of the back of his car, and then as he's going down the main straight, like it seems like he's down on power or something because he's just not making it.
Yeah, there's some smoke coming out of the back of his car going through the stadium section.
Yeah, they come over there and they like prepare for like heavy steering. So it sounds like it was like a hydraulics failure in the steering, and the smoke was from that fluid getting on hot engine components. So it doesn't sound like the engine itself broke, but something in the steering system failed.
Yeah, but just fucking heartbreaking for Ricciardo. He's had such a terrible season.
I've got a thing here. I don't know specifically what this audio is going to be, but
let's broadcast it live to tape.
Yeah, just another problem with this car. It's it has not been a clean weekend for so long, and even today, the starts have been good all weekend. The practice starts, and for the race start, it's all over the place with the pre-start, and just those things are happening on Sunday, which I got no more explanation for. And just I don't know, the cars. I'll let Gasly drive it. I'm done with it.
Oof.
Yeah. And a quote after that, he says he honestly doesn't see a point of coming out on Sunday anymore. He doesn't see a point in doing the next two races. The car's cursed.
Wow. That's
yeah,
a lot from him.
Yeah.
So,
but
I'm gutted for the dude.
He's had 8 or 9 DNFs this season. It's just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible. But, I mean, that's about how, like, I want to say last year, Verstappen had about that many, probably closer to like 6 or 7. And this year, Verstappen's had pretty good reliability, especially relative to Ricciardo.
Yeah.
It's like 2, right?
He's only had 2 DNFs, yeah. And at least one of those was not technical. So he's had at most 1 technical race failure.
Yeah.
Mechanical race failure. But yeah, it's fucking heartbreaking for Ricciardo. Hope next year goes better for him.
Yeah.
I hope the Renault is more competitive next year. I doubt it so soon that it will be, but We'll see.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Renault says they have an all-new engine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say, oh, I'm sorry you've had so much trouble in your Renault-powered car. Good luck at the Renault team next year, and kind of say it snarkily. But, I mean, if you look at it, I feel like Renault's had a lot fewer failures this year than Red Bull.
So I was actually looking at the internal combustion engine usage before you guys got here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you answer a question, since you were looking at that? Did Bottas just now put his third engine in?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Has
Mercedes.
Hamilton put his in?
Both Mercedes are on their third engines. All the Mercedes cars are on their third engines right now. But the Renault cars have used 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull has used also 4 and 5.
That's lower than I thought.
But I don't think that the Renault cars have had nearly the...
They've been preemptive replacements.
But also
failure
all the
replacements.
DNFs that have happened to Daniel Ricciardo haven't necessarily been engine related, right? Like, didn't he have one that was clutch?
Yes.
Or transmission? Like, it's not necessarily all a Renault issue.
Right.
Yeah.
So, oh man, we didn't talk about this before the race. It's a quote from Helmut Marko after qualifying. It's like, I hope Daniel Ricciardo enjoys this pole because he's not going to get one with his future employer.
I mean, he's probably not.
That's still a really fucking shitty thing to say. Like,
Yeah.
that's some salty bullshit. Act like a professional. Yeah, I'm gutted for the dude. I hope that he's happy next year, if anything else. Get in the battle, at least in the mid-pack.
Yeah,
So-
he'll have people to race, at least.
Yep.
But that basically ends the race.
Brings out another VSC.
Yeah, and everyone at this point is just like, all right, let's just cruise it out to the end.
Except for Bottas, who's like, let me put some hypersauce on. And so he does.
Yeah, he puts on hypersofts during
The
the
gaps
VSC.
are so
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like 20 seconds between every car
Oh,
in
other
the top
thing.
6, and then it's like 3 minutes back to Hulkenberg.
Retired, and he was still in 7th or 6th for a while before
Yeah.
the other cars caught him.
Yeah, it was just like, oh boy, it's like you could sit there and like wallow in like disappointment and then like look up and be like, oh, he's actually still in 6th. I've been sitting here being like, oh, this is a bummer for like a minute and a half now, and he's
Yeah.
still in 6th
I like
place.
was very confused whenever I saw him in 6th. I was like, what is that? Oh, shit. Everybody else is like 2 laps down. Like,
Yeah, it's like, god damn.
yeah. Man, that gap to the rest.
Yeah, it was crazy because like
massive.
I can't remember if it was also free practice 2, but in like free practice 1, like Renault was the second best team. So I was just like, oh, maybe like Renault will be like kind of competitive this weekend, but
Nope.
no,
Nope.
no, they will not. Jesus. So yeah, Verstappen gets his 5th win. Lewis gets his 5th championship.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Vettel gets to wait until next year. And yeah, that's...
How about Stoffel Van Dorn?
How about
He passed the Haas.
he got into 8th place?
Yeah.
Speaking of, Haas was dog shit this weekend.
Yeah, they were.
They were.
They
My
finished
God.
Even the Williams were better than them.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
How does
I
that
feel like
happen?
they're hit or miss, right? Like, this was happening at the beginning of the season, too, where, like, they were, like, 4th best
Yeah.
by...
They were good enough for people to be like, hey, are you cheating with Ferrari?
Yeah. And
And-
then, like, 5 races in, it was like, oh, never mind. Like,
And then it was like, oh, Grosjean's hitting everything. And now it's just like, oh, your cars really aren't performing very well.
I mean, they've had, like, some decent performance in the last 2 races, but then, like, this one was like, damn, what happened, y'all?
Yeah. It was just like, ish.
Yeah, I was stoked for Stoffel.
It was the post race interviews were kind of interesting because they did Max and then they did Seb and then Lewis did a burnout and then they gave him his own little parking board that said world champion.
They did that last year, too.
And then Lewis got interviewed and then they interviewed Kimmy and I was like, oh, poor Kimmy.
Yeah.
I bet he's fine with it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't really care. I did like that when they went to interview Seb, like, he said, like, a couple words and was like, wait, I have to go say congratulations to Lewis. And
Well, the part at which he said wait was when they said, what do you think? What moment do you think that it stopped? You weren't going to be able to win this championship anymore.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna go congratulate Lewis.
Yeah.
And then those dudes like
I thought that was kind of cool.
hugged it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Worth noting here that even Bottas was down 1 lap at the end
Jeez.
of the race.
Damn.
Yeah. So Max lapped up through Bottas, so there were only 4 cars on the lead lap.
Damn it. Okay, so
And those cars were spread out over that entire lap.
also
Yeah,
Lewis
I guess-
didn't do his crazy thing where he ran the wrong way down the track and some dude fell over himself like last year.
Yeah, speaking of, I guess, crazy time differences, Vettel in P2 was 17 seconds down off Max. Kimi in P3 was 49 seconds behind Max. And Lewis in P4 was 78 seconds down.
That's almost not the lead lap.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's like 5 seconds off.
lap times were like 120 at
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ooh.
Damn.
So, yeah. But, I mean, at that point, everyone was just like, all right, we can just cruise. Because it's like, the gaps are so big that, like,
Yeah, there's
it's
nothing's
nothing going to happen.
Let's
So,
let's
everyone.
blow our cars up. Like, that's.
Yeah.
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 Because, yeah, after Ricardo went out, like, Max came over his radio. He was like, hey, whatever we need to do, like, if you need to turn the engine down, turn it down.
Yeah, I was actually confused by that because he was like, yeah, just turn the engine down, guys. But, like,
I didn't
the
realize that was
team-
something that the team could do.
The team on the wall's not supposed to be able to do that, is my understanding. Like, it has to be done by the driver.
He might have been, like, saying,
But-
hey, if you guys need to turn it down, turn it
They
down.
said
I
that they
agree.
did.
I that's what I thought as well. But then later on, they're like, "Hey, Max, just a heads up, like we turned it down." Like in one of the radio transmissions back to Max.
Huh.
Like
Yeah.
it sounded like they told him that in case he was like, "This doesn't feel the same."
Maybe.
So I wonder if the driver can control all of the like brake biases and like
Yes.
stuff like that, but the team can control like engine mapping to an extent.
No, like, I know that the drivers can change engine mapping because the drivers have
Oh, yeah.
turned it up.
Yeah, the
like,
driver can control,
when
like,
they're
fuel flow
not
and
supposed
stuff.
to or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you remember Fernando Alonso's fastest lap when they had Hondas or whatever. He's
Yeah.
like, I turned it up. Like, my understanding is that the team is only supposed to be able to see telemetry but not be able to make adjustments to the car. So maybe they just said that to him.
I don't know. It was
Like-
interesting.
Maybe you're allowed to, like, reduce performance in case of worrying about failure.
Yeah, I can maybe see them having that control because it's going to be potentially difficult to convince a driver to do that when there is nothing apparently wrong at the time, to be like, we need to make sure something bad doesn't happen. You need to turn it down. And then being like, fuck off.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I would like
But
clarification.
that might be
on
a
that.
rule from, like, last year you're thinking of that maybe they changed for this year or something.
I feel like that would have been
But-
really significant to know, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna probably try to look into this a little bit further
Yeah, that
and figure out what's going on.
would be interesting. But
Yeah.
some interesting things I noticed in the driver standings is that while Lewis is now the champion, Vettel is fixed up there at P2. P3 through P5, not necessarily set in stone yet, as Kimi is only 9 points ahead of Bottas, and Bottas is only 11 points ahead of Max. So theoretically,
So
Max
third's still up for
could
grabs.
get third place. Like, it's unlikely that he would get that. Like, he would need basically one of those dudes to DNF, but I guess it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah. So,
That's neat.
yeah, because I probably 4th or 5th is his best result, I'm going to guess, in the championship. So that'd be pretty good. And then a lot of the, like, mid-pack points are really close. Like, Alonso's in 10th, and he's only 1 point up on Ocon. But
He's gonna lose that spot.
yeah, I don't see Alonso getting any more points this year.
One other thing that we forgot to note was one of the Williams drivers fell down mechanics fell down during their pit stop.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
got,
they got
fined
fined
like
for it.
25,000 euros or something.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it wasn't
It was
nearly as bad as
nearly-
the Ferrari
yeah.
incident earlier.
Yeah, one
but
dude had his leg broken.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
when it happened, like I couldn't tell if like was he just off balance and was barely holding his balance and then fell on his ass at the end or what. But apparently, something about it.
I don't know.
wasn't safe. I don't know.
I haven't
how it occurred.
rewatched it since the race, but like as it was happening, I was like, that dude looks like he's in the wrong spot because he was like standing behind the front tire as he was changing it. And I was like, this seems bad. And then Lance drove off and just like didn't drive over him,
immediately
but like
got upset.
yeah,
The pit crew shouldn't be getting hurt.
yep.
Feel very strongly about that.
I agreed. But this seemed like a case where this guy was definitely like at fault. Where like in the Kimmy situation, it was like, oh, there was a problem and like they didn't get this wheel on in time.
Did that really even change at all? I don't remember.
Yeah. So it's just like,
I don't remember
that
the
was like a
specifics.
problem in the stop. This stop seems like this guy was in the wrong spot and
Williams
didn't
has
get
always
out of the
had
way.
like a really good pit crew though.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
weird. Like,
It is really weird, but also just like, how did that light change when that guy was still in the wrong spot? It's like because it is.
It's not based on where people are standing.
It's based on
the car and every
still
information
on.
about the car.
So
Yep.
I guess bring back the lollipop man.
I
Start
have
this
been
argument and
seeing
go over
like a dude with a light standing in front of the car, like kind of like catty cornered off to the side of the car.
Speaking of dudes with lights, did you see some of the track marshal's sick fucking helmets this weekend?
I didn't.
There were a couple really
there was a
good
couple
ones.
different ones that were sick.
One
I'll
of
try
them
to dig
looked
up.
like a fucking spaceman, like EVA helmet. One of them looked like the, the dude that like fires the Death Star laser.
Oh yeah,
It looked like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
boy,
cool.
that's cool. Why do you have this?
It was like
Dia de los Muertos.
no, they were like both like chrome gold plated helmet visors, but one of them was kind of like molded into the shape of his face to a certain extent, and then the other one just like he looked like he was gonna go walking on the moon later.
yeah,
That's
It
dope.
was badass.
I like Mexico. Like I like the track.
Yeah,
I like the time frame that it happens in because you get all like the cool, like people in costumes and stuff.
I know I said this last year, but I think I'm going to try next year to go.
You're gonna get
Murdered.
stabbed.
Mexico City seems fine.
People say don't go there.
Who?
The government.
Yeah, fine. I'm going.
So
Can't stop me.
like the tire thing this race, like it threw like an interesting curveball, but like
It was exciting.
should Pirelli like get their shit together and like maybe we should send some harder tires or like I don't
I mean,
that was mildly frustrating because across the board it seemed like everybody's tires were just fucked after 10 laps.
yeah, but they choose these tires like a month and a half in advance.
10 weeks.
10 weeks? So
Yeah.
2.5 months in advance. So it's just like they didn't, like they thought it would be colder, I'm guessing. So it's just like, and then the teams like choose their tires. So it's like at what point they wouldn't know that they were wrong about what they thought they should have until they're out there using these tires already. So, and then like once you've used up tires, like what do? Like you're like, oh shit, we need to like get more tires in here, and everybody gets all new brands, all new tires.
No,
Everybody.
like I mean
So it's like, I feel like once they knew that there was a problem, there was nothing they could really do to fix it that would be fair to the teams.
how do you prevent this from happening again though? Like if you're Pirelli.
There's kind of nothing you can do, because then it's the other case of, because you also have the cases where it's like, oh, they bias them like too hard. So it's like, oh, this tire
Now
could
they
last the
almost don't
entire
need this
race.
stuff.
That feels like that's happened a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I
and,
mean,
and that's like almost this. It's just the same problem, but in reverse. And I think this is the better problem to have because it makes it more exciting.
Yes, but I also feel like it makes it arguably more dangerous as well, because you got guys who are going to try to push the tires too hard, or you end up in a situation where they don't have enough tires, and so like they're running out there not able to get off of these tires that are fucking done.
Yeah.
So
I mean, some of that seems like it should be like a consideration that the teams have to take during the practice sessions.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm with you on that.
Maybe we shouldn't push these tires as hard as we can, or let's not use 4 sets of tires in FP1 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, remember England last year when the Ferraris both lost their front tires at the last couple laps of the race?
Was that last year? Was
Yeah,
that?
it was
I think that was last year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's got to be a middle ground, right? Like, being 10 laps in and being like, these tires are fucked, and we don't know what we're going to do.
I mean, most races are sort of that middle ground where it's like, oh, yeah, these tires are fine. They're lasting. But it's just like sometimes it's like, oh, these tires will last forever. And then this is the only race I can think of.
Yeah, it's the only
in
one I can
recent
think
memory.
of that's been like this.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a huge problem that they need to worry about. It's just in this one instance, like, they guessed wrong. Like, their weather forecast, like, predictions were wrong because it's hard to forecast the weather that far in advance.
Tell that to the Farmer's Almanac.
That's a book. It's a
It is a
dumb
book.
book, and it's wrong.
Tell that to science.
I will not tell anything to science.
Science tells you.
Oh, so we're like 2 weeks?
Yep, 2 weeks out to Brazil.
I hope it rains. I hope
It's
it rains
gonna
so
rain.
hard.
It's Brazil gonna be what?
It's gonna be
how
dripping
Brazil
wet.
do.
Max is going to be doing rain dances just for Brazil.
It's gonna be dripping wet.
Yep,
What if Max can get pole in Brazil because it's raining?
that would be surprising because Hamilton would.
Maybe.
But yeah, if if Verstappen's going to get that youngest ever pole sitter, he has to do it in Brazil or Abu Dhabi. So it's probably not going to happen, but he's got 2 more chances.
If it rains in Brazil,
yes,
it could happen.
it could happen. We'll see.
But
But I'm not holding my breath.
But I have a pretty good feeling he'll have a penalty in Brazil just from changing engine parts,
Yeah.
just based off of Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
oh,
you're probably
speaking
right
of fun statistic that got rolled out going into this race.
Is it a pointless statistic?
No. Well, I mean, I guess kinda, but it was kind of surprising and kind of speaks to Vettel as a driver. It's like, oh, Vettel has to win this race or the championship's done. And so it's like, oh, Vettel starting P4. Fun fact, Vettel's never won a race from lower than P3. Which is surprising until you like think about Vettel's driving, and he mostly does well when he's on pole. It's like, oh, Vettel's going to win a race. He started P1 or maybe P2 and then got P1 before that first corner.
Okay.
So it's just like, maybe Vettel's not great at passing. So yeah, like that stat was just like, huh. Like Vettel's maybe like kind of at his best. Like maybe Saturday's kind of his day. Like he's good at running a fast lap. He's not necessarily
So he should
great
be
at passing.
Racing and time attack.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But you know who does seem pretty decent at passing?
Max Verstappen?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. I was expecting you to say Daniel Ricciardo.
Also Daniel
yes.
Ricciardo?
But I was looking for Charles Leclerc. So
Yeah, I'll go with that as well.
like the more I've thought about like that stat has made me just like think about Vettel a lot this last day. It's like, boy, I wonder if Leclerc is going to be able to beat Vettel in his first year there.
God, I hope so. I hope Pierre Gasly does awesome also. Like, I am so excited for next season.
Yep, me
It's
too.
going to be
Same.
awesome.
Also would like to get confirmation on the last couple drivers soon. Nick Cassidy just wrapped up the Super Formula season, finished P2 by a single point.
Sucks to suck. Didn't that happen to Gasly last year?
He lost by half a point,
God damn it!
and only because they didn't run the last race. So
Yep.
Yeah.
because of a
I mean,
typhoon.
he still could have lost.
Yeah,
But
still. So I would really like to see Nick Cassidy partnering and Daniel Kvyat. Actually, I'd really like to see Nick Cassidy partnering Brendan Hartley, but with Kvyat already locked in.
Why are you such a hater? Why do you hate everything I love?
You love Daniel Kvyat?
I'm his biggest fan.
I'd believe that. But yeah, it's Nick Cassidy probably not going to get that drive. So
Sucks
with
to
that said,
suck.
kind of hope Hartley keeps his spot. But yeah, Super Formula is done, but Super GT is not. I think there's 2 more Super GT races.
Please, dos mas.
No. Japan. Yes. Well, there's 1 more race in reality, but there's 2 more that we haven't talked about.
Oh, okay.
So, the most recent race was at Autopolis last weekend, and next week I'm going to tell you about it. So, we'll look forward to hearing more about Nick Cassidy next week.
All right.
Also, Brazil in 2 weeks, and it's also good times because Brazil is just straight south of us. So, qualifying and the race are both at noon Central Time.
Hell yeah.
So,
That's what's up. We'll go over that again next week, though.
yes,
Yeah.
we will. But yeah, look forward to me saying Jan Martinborough and Miku and Autopolis.
You can just watch
Next weekend.
these races.
Yep, just on
They're just on
Nismo
YouTube.
TV on YouTube.
So if you would like to watch it before next week, that's what we'll be talking about next week.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
Please do.
Do you guys have anything else?
That's about it for me. Oh, man, it's this robot arm man
Jeffrey?
again. Forgot about him.
I sat in a McLaren 720S this weekend.
It's a good looking car.
They are good looking cars. There's like the door skin, and then it like rolls in on itself, and then goes down, and then comes back up, and there's like another door skin, and like I can stick my whole arm can disappear inside of this car's door.
That feels like a good place for water to pool up.
It's like where air goes,
I don't know what you mean when you say door skin, but door skin sounds really gross.
like
when
the
you
metal
say it.
bit,
Well,
the
it's
shiny
not,
metal.
It's not
paint.
metal on this car.
Well, yeah, but the painted part of your door is called the door skin.
On the outside?
Yeah, on the
Yes.
outside.
That's
like a door isn't just it's multiple pieces of metal. And
Right.
So, like, the
Or
skin
other
is what
things.
goes on the door.
It's a
Okay.
very complicated piece of machinery, and I feel like I almost got stuck inside of the car because the door handles do not look like door handles. They look like the trunk or engine cover release handles, and I was like, huh.
Oh,
Oh God! Speaking of McLaren,
Also, it doesn't have like a engine cover that you can. The engine cover is like this big, or it's like the size of like a.
How do you
You
work
don't.
on it?
You don't. You don't. You don't work
I
on.
mean,
your
like,
McLarens.
if you own a McLaren 720,
McLaren works on your McLaren.
you don't work on it. You pay somebody else an absorbent amount of money to work on it.
You don't work on it significantly more than you don't work on your Lamborghini because you can at least get to the engine on that.
Yeah, but you can just take that to the Audi delership, though.
Fine, your Ferrari. You can still get to the engine on that.
I feel like you can
take
just take
that
that
to
to
the
the
Alfa Romeo
Maserati dealership.
Speaking of McLarens, Austin, did you see this fucking monstrosity that McLaren's making? The McLaren Speedtail.
Oh
Yeah.
God! It's
Thing
got two
looks-
different kinds of wheels on it.
It looks so fucking ugly. This car is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's
terrible.
It's terrible.
It's disgusting, and I love it.
You're
Oh
wrong.
my God! It looks so stupid.
You don't know fashion.
This car is not fashion.
Have you seen his shoes?
Are those new shoes?
Oh, these babies? Hatsunemiku.racing.
Radiopodcast.com.
At Radio Podcast.
Offer code Miku will still get you a discount on our store.
At shop.radiopodcast.com.
That's right.
It's our
At-
best sale ever.
And the at Radio Podcast is on all the social medias.
Not all of them.
All of them.
Okay, all of them.
It's all of them.
The ones that matter.
Yeah.
You can see hot tweets that just say, like, I think there's probably a tweet on there that just says root beer. I'm going to guess. I don't remember, but I'm going to guess I've done that.
Were you drunk?
No, I was drinking a root beer. Or thinking about root beer.
I'm going to have to check this out. While I do that, we can shut it down.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next week.
Man, I've had a root beer in like a month. I could go for a root beer.
Root beer right now.
You have root beer in-house?
No, not here. I'm going to go get one.
Oh, nice.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Those
It'll
are bad descriptions because fall back, when you say back, I think that is further ahead in time.
Who falls backwards forwards?